Hey, everybody. Welcome to my free online masterclass, the 4-step system to launch your nonprofit and open the floodgates to high quality donors on a daily basis. The best part, it takes less than 14 days. I'm Dr. Sharon Elephant here, and I've put together this free masterclass just for you. Over the next 25 minutes or so, I'm going to walk you through the exact step-by-step strategy that I used for myself and to launch over 500 nonprofits in under 14 days, generating more than 15 million in funding for our clients. So if you're feeling stuck on the information hamster wheel of learning about starting a nonprofit instead of actually starting a nonprofit, I promise you, this is the last bit of information you'll ever need to get that breakthrough you've been looking for. So please keep on watching. Does this sound like you? Maybe sound a little familiar? You're ready to get your nonprofit off the ground, but you feel buried in paperwork and legal stuff. You have no idea how to get steady funding. Does that sound familiar or sound like you? Maybe you've tried doing it all by yourself and even used online services like LegalZoom only to feel confused and frustrated. You have a powerful mission inside you, but something still feels stuck. The real reason most nonprofits struggle to get off the ground. The real problem? You're stuck following the old launch process. You haven't transitioned to the new smart launch process. One that's results driven, impactful, and has longevity. When you switch to the new smart launch process, everything changes. Everything changes. And you'll see this masterclass keeps every promise I made. Each idea you'll learn has been tested and proven to work for any nonprofit, whether it's feeding the homeless, rescuing dogs, or helping single moms. This smart launch process works. Let me say that again. This smart launch process, it works. These ideas have brought in millions of dollars in funding for me and my clients. Step 1 teaches you how to attract your dream donors and get them excited to support you. This is one of my biggest secrets, and even the largest nonprofits don't know this. Step 2 removes the biggest roadblocks to getting your 501c3 tax exempt status with a 100% success rate. That's right, I have a 100% success rate with the IRS. In step 3, you'll learn how to unlock a steady stream of funding. This gives you the power to outshine other nonprofits and gain the support that you need. This launch system works for nonprofits of all sizes. Here's why this system is so powerful. It works fast. As you saw on the cover, this system will get you up and running in weeks, not months, not years. It's timeless. This is not a quick trick or hack. It's a solid business strategy that's worked for decades and will keep working. It scales. This system works for any nonprofit, so no matter its size or focus. Before we start, there's something that I need you to understand. This won't be easy. It will take hard work and dedication from you. You have to believe 100% in your mission. You'll also need to invest financially to bring your vision to life. If you think you'll make a big impact by playing small and using only free information, then this masterclass is not for you. In fact, I mean this with respect, but if this is your mindset, I don't want you to keep watching. Only because you won't get anything out of it. There are no quick fixes or free rides here. But if you're ready to go all in, then in the next 30 minutes or so, you'll learn a launch system that will give you a successful nonprofit with steady, reliable funding to make a real impact. No matter where you are in your journey, I hope this masterclass helps you as much as it helped me and my clients. Let's dive in. In this masterclass, you'll learn the 4 steps to launch a nonprofit business in 14 days the smart way. Step 1, solve a big, painful problem. Most nonprofits struggle to gain support and funding. It's not because they lack good intentions, it's because they don't identify and solve a big, painful problem. They also don't focus on a specific group of people who need it solved. The truth is, the problem fuels the funding. God, I just love that. Like, the problem fuels the funding. Okay, guys? Your nonprofit doesn't drive in donations. The problem it solves does. If you don't define a big, painful problem, no amount of marketing or campaigning for support will help you. At the end of the day, your nonprofit just won't gain any traction. Why? Simply put, because people won't care. This is why 60% of nonprofits struggle to meet their financial needs. Now, you might be asking, how do I know if I'm solving a big enough problem that people will care about? Let me explain. At the heart of every community, there's a gap between where they are now and where they want to be. So let me say that again. A gap between where they are now, that's the current state, and where they want to be, the future state. It could be what they have now versus what they need for a better future, or even who they are now versus who they want to become. This gap is where the value lives. Without this gap, there is no value. The bigger the gap, the more valuable the solution. So here's what that looks like visually. I know for some of us, like, I can hear it, but I want to see it too. I love diagrams. This stuff totally just makes me excited. The current state is where the need for change begins. The future state is the vision your community and donors have for a better life. It's the life they imagine when the problem is solved. That in between, your nonprofit's job is to bridge that gap. This gap is where the value lives. Now, you might be wondering, how would I bridge this gap? You bridge the gap with your programs. Your program should communicate how you plan to make the changes that solve the problem. Your programs are the solutions to bridging that gap. Because people don't buy problems. They do buy solutions to their problems. So you need one painful, well-defined, measurable problem, how you plan to solve it, and who you plan to solve it for. If you don't believe in this fundamental step, don't even bother watching the rest of this masterclass. Because in step 2 and 3, you'll learn how to make these plans official and get the support you need to make them real. Step 2, let's make it official. You could have the best solution to the biggest problem, but on its own, it's not enough. You still need to make it official. If there's one thing that slows down even the most motivated change makers, it's the legal process. So many new nonprofits get held up by long, costly delays. I see it all too often, like all the time. Maybe they're an entrepreneur and have started a business before on their own, so they go down a rabbit hole of how-tos on YouTube. They'll piece together a pile of disconnected documents. Then they go on LegalZoom and click through to submit. Then they check the wrong boxes and completely miss the mark, only to learn that they didn't do it right on either both the state and the federal levels. And now they're faced with delays, fees, penalties, or worse, get rejected for their 501c3 tax exempt status. Oh, and don't mention the big unexpected tax bill that shows up at your door because they were never a legally recognized tax exempt organization all along anyway. You're probably wondering, what do I need to file and where? Let's break it down. I call these essential documents my core 5. Imagine having someone to speak to your supporters anytime, any day, 24/7. That's what your core 5 documents do for you. Let's look at the list. 1, Articles of Incorporation legally establishes your nonprofit's purpose, structure, and the problem it's dedicated to solving. Number 2, bylaws. These set the rules for governance, board roles, decision-making to support your mission. Number 3, mission statement. This defines your nonprofit's purpose, the problem you're solving, and the community you serve. Number 4, organizational narrative. This tells the story of your nonprofit, explaining why you're tackling this issue and your vision for change. Number 5, program descriptions. This details the specific programs and addresses how they solve the problem, their target audience, and the impact goals. The core 5 doesn't need to be complex, just clear, focused documents that tell a cohesive story. And when done correctly, the core 5 transforms your nonprofit from an idea into a legally recognized tax-exempt nonprofit organization. Sending the message to potential supporters that we're legitimate, We are here to solve a real problem and we know how to do it. That's the message that you send having those core 5 documents. And to do it, you need funding. But to get the funding, you need to be in compliance. The more legitimacy you have, the more funding and donations you'll be eligible for. Now, at this point, you might be wondering, so what does filing actually look like? You know I love a good visual. State level, federal level. At the state level, obviously there's a little bit more you've got to do than at the federal level. We've got state tax exemption, filing articles of incorporation, possibly reserving your business name, appointing a board and bylaws, obtaining state business license, registering for charitable solicitation. And at the federal level, you need to have an employer identification number, file for your 501c3 status, pay IRS filing fees, receive your determination letter. There's a lot going on in this process. Let me just tell you, I love a good visual. Now that you're official, you're ready for the next step, securing funding. In step 3, you'll learn how to start unlocking predictable funding, even while waiting for your tax-exempt status. This way, you don't have to put your mission on hold. But before we start and go through this, I want to emphasize that these strategies are not just nice to haves. These are the same steps I used for my own nonprofit and for hundreds of my clients. Launching brand new nonprofits with 100% approval rates with the IRS. 100% approval rates. Yes, I have 100% approval rates. And I only teach what I actually do. If I haven't done it, I don't teach it. So with that out the way, let me show you how it works in step 3. Unlocking funding. Step 3, unlocking funding. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make is that they lose momentum, waiting around for the IRS to wave their magic wand of approval, which can be painfully slow, but there's a smarter way to keep things moving. When you decide to launch a nonprofit, you are launching a business that happens to be not for profit. I want to emphasize this. Let me say this one more time. When you're starting a nonprofit, you are launching a business with a cause, a purpose-driven business. This just happens to be a not-for-profit tax-exempt organization and must be treated as such and nothing less. Let me be super clear on what I believe to be the single most important rule in business. It's this. As the owner, your number one responsibility is to sell. Selling isn't something you can just do on the side. It's not something you can fully hand off to someone else. Selling is the most important job in any business, including nonprofits. Consequently, it's the most important job of any nonprofit founder. What exactly are you selling? You're selling your mission. Yes, but more specifically, you're selling donors and grantors on why the big painful problem you're here to solve is even worth solving. You're also showing them that this problem matters to the people you want to help and that your programs are exactly what's needed to solve it. It doesn't matter whether you have a powerful mission or purpose. Your nonprofit's existence depends on how well you can bring in new funding. Your nonprofit's success is not based on your motivation, your team, or your desire to help people. If you have a predictable system to bring in new donors, having a nonprofit can be amazing. But if you don't, it can be unpredictable, stressful, and hard to keep going. This is because the destiny of your company ultimately drops in your lap. You can choose to ignore this fact, turn a blind eye, and tell yourself everything will work out fine. Or you can follow what I'm about to tell you next to make sure your brand new nonprofit does not become just another sad statistic. Are you ready? I'm ready, but are you ready? Over the next few slides, I'm going to tell you things you won't hear anywhere else. Not because they're untrue, it's because they're more true than anything else you've ever learned about launching a nonprofit. You see, after working with hundreds of nonprofit founders and entrepreneurs, I've realized most don't really understand the business they're actually in. For example, you're not in the business of providing diapers and formula to single moms. You have programs that help single moms by providing diapers and formula. Now, of course, that's why you're launching your nonprofit in the first place. But it's easy to get caught up in thinking, I provide diapers and formula to single moms, so I must spend my time doing just that. But the truth is, most of your time should go toward the real business every nonprofit founder is in, selling. Again, that's selling your what, who, and how. What problem you're here to solve, for who, and how you're going to do it. To be truly effective nonprofit founders, you'll need to spend most of your time on marketing and sales. What I like to call funding producing activities. Okay, here's a cool principle to think about, the Pareto principle, also known as the 80-20 rule. This states that roughly 80% of effects come from 20% of causes. That means a small proportion of inputs or efforts often leads to the majority of results. Let's take a look at that. Your time, effort, and money in your nonprofit should follow an 80-20 rule. 80% goes toward funding producing activities, and only 20% goes toward other tasks. The other functions are obviously vital to a well-functioning nonprofit business, yet without marketing and sales, you will have zero donations. And I mean like no donations at all. Without donations, you will not have cash flow. Yes, nonprofits still need cash flow. You have expenses to pay for. And without cash flow, your nonprofit will die from lack of financial support. Funding is the oxygen to any nonprofit business. I can't emphasize that enough. Funding is the oxygen to any nonprofit business. You have to sell your potential supporters on the big problem you can solve for who and how you can do it. People don't donate just because you have a big donate button plastered everywhere. Honestly, I hope by now you're convinced that as the nonprofit founder, selling is your main job. I've seen this proven from working with hundreds of clients across many types of nonprofits. When your nonprofit is flooded with donations and grants, there's really no problem you can't solve. There's no person you can't hire. There's no person you can't serve. There's no systems you can't put in place. So when you think about the impact that you want to have, learning the skills to sell your mission is a responsibility, not just a choice. Now, I know you're thinking, okay, but how? To be honest, there's no way to fully break down how to attract tons of donors in this short masterclass. But let's get a bird's eye view. So let's take a first look at messaging. Attract high quality donors with a clear and compelling message that comes with them and shows exactly how your nonprofit will solve a big, painful problem. Next, drive targeted visitors to your nonprofit's landing page using proven strategies. Capture leads of potential donors by offering irresistible incentives such as free resources, trainings, educating them on the gap that exists in the community and how to solve it. In the end, once you've attracted, educated, and nurtured potential donors, you can guide them to take action and donate with a simple, repeatable system that makes supporting your cause effortless. And you do this on repeat over and over and over again and over again. Oh, by the way, with the right systems in place, this entire process can be automated. Trust me when I tell you, this is the single most powerful strategy for turning complete strangers into high-value dream donors like clockwork. Step 4, let's put it all together. So there you have it. You've learned the key steps to launch a new nonprofit the smart way, and you've seen how to do it in days or weeks instead of the years and years of pain it took me. I know you've covered a lot in this masterclass, and you can tell I'm really passionate about this stuff. I live and die by the nonprofit work. That's because when you get it right and you grow your nonprofit, it makes a huge difference in your life and the lives of the people you're helping. Money is a tool to solve problems. And running a nonprofit can be one of the best ways to create the resources to make real change. Other people not only have the money you need, they also desire to contribute it to charitable causes they care about. The life you want is fueled by the nonprofit business you build. I think this is another one of those that I really can't overemphasize. The life you want is fueled by the nonprofit business you build. Too often people lose sight of their reason for starting a nonprofit: to make an impact, create change, and build stability. They get stuck in the old way of launching, focusing on the wrong things. A true nonprofit founder is an expert on the big problems and goals of their community. They are dedicated to creating real solutions that matter and not afraid of showing why these solutions are valuable. Sure, some people will doubt you. They may have given up on their own dreams and say things to make you question yours, negative Nancy. But remember, you can have it all. You truly can have it all. Achieving your mission, creating lasting impact, gaining financial stability, finding personal fulfillment, all without burning out. Now, to get there, you have two choices. The hard way, going at it alone, wasting time and money, or the easy way, following a proven system from someone who's done it for themselves and hundreds of others. That's me. If you're serious about launching a successful nonprofit, then now is the time to act. You need to move from the old do-it-yourself way to my new smart launch process. Once you do, everything changes. I love when everything changes, and this is so in the momentum forward to serve the community. Remember, once you do, everything changes. You'll have a clear problem, a plan to solve it, and a community you're ready to help. You can accept donations, even as your 501c3 is in progress. You'll have a reliable system to bring in ongoing funding for your mission. Once you make this shift, your nonprofit and your life will never be the same. If you're serious about launching your nonprofit and want to see exactly how this proven system could work for you, then click the orange button below this video. But I need to mention, this call is not for everyone. It is not for those who are merely interested in launching a nonprofit. It is not for those who want to just keep learning how to launch a nonprofit instead of actually launching a nonprofit. This call is for future nonprofit founders who want to make a massive impact in the world while building the business of their dreams. This call is for people who are ready, willing, and able to invest in and commit fully to their mission. If you want to learn more about how the system works and see if it's a good fit for you, I'd love to chat with you more over a quick 15-minute phone call. So go ahead, click the orange button below. It's right below this video, and on the next page, you'll be able to schedule a free call with me at the time that works best for you. I can't wait to help you start your business with a cause. Book below.